Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Fast Leadership Podcast with Arno and Gordon, where we look to take the rocket science out of leadership and make it accessible to everybody.
Hey, hi, everybody. Hello. Hi, Gordon. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well.
Welcome to everybody. Welcome to Fast Leadership with Arno and Gordon. And today, Gordon, I got something very specific for you. I got an issue and I need to find a balance, and I hope you will help me with that.
Okay, cool. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, right. Let me give you a little bit of context. So I was managing a project. I was leader on a project and working with a bunch of people. Two of them came to me with a complaint about my managing style, which I can fully accept. I mean, I'm not perfect for sure, but we had a little bit of a situation where I was in need of more feedback from them, because I had to know that the project was right on track and in timing, and the deliverables were getting where we want to go to.
Yeah.
So I was asking them feedbacks, and about the progress. Yeah. And they thought and they felt, and it's okay that they felt that I was trying to micromanage them.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to do, obviously.
No, absolutely.
So we were kind of stuck.
And by the way, that's not your style either.
It's not my style. That's not what I want to do, for sure. And I don't think it's efficient. I don't want to be micromanaged. We've been to that, and I don't want to micromanage people. But I do need those feedbacks.
Why did you need that feedback?
Okay, so let me explain you. We have a very firm deadline on delivery for that project.
Yeah.
And of course, people in the project don't know everything about every aspect of the project.
I thought you were going to tell me I need to know, because I have to report upwards to my boss, who's asking where are we on track.
The thing is, if we're not on track, and if we're not on timing, and if the quality is not good enough, my boss will come down to me and ask why that didn't happen.
But that's usually why we need to know. It's not necessarily, I mean, I'm the project manager.
Yeah.
I need to know. But actually, my boss is going to ask me, and I can't tell him, I don't know, because that makes like I don't have my job. So you're right. We've got to find that fine line between being perceived as micromanaging and getting the feedback that we're looking for. And one of the things that I always feel is that one of the reasons why projects fail is a lack of transparency into progress. So what I want my teams to do is, I'm holding you accountable for outcomes, not following the plan, but the deliverables. So give me a plan of what the deliverables are going to be. And if you tell me that we're going to be, let's say we've got 4 weeks. At the end of week 1, it'll be 25% done. End of week 2, it'll be 40% done, because that's a complex bit. Week 3 will be at 65% done. And then week 4, we're completely done. Then that's okay. But then I'm going to come and check with you. End of week 1, are we at 25% done?
Yeah.
I'm not going to come and ask you every day, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? But they need to be identifying the key milestones at which, delivery is going to be made. And if you think about baking a cake, the milestone isn't, and the cake came out of the oven. I've got the ingredients, I've mixed it, I've put it in the oven, I've cooked it, I've taken it out, and I've iced it. So, there's going to be checkpoints, and they've got to give us checkpoints. And the reason they need to do that is, let me ask you a question. Why are you checking up on them?
Well, multiple reasons. One is that I want to make sure that I can help them if they do not meet the deadline.
Exactly.
And I'm asking them,
this is not about
something to reach it. Yeah.
It's not about policing. My job is to help you.
Right. To put you in a good position and with a good, with what you need, right?
Yeah. So that's the first thing. The reason why we're having these checkpoints is so that if we're on track, I can say, good job, well done. And if not, I can help you. And a lot of people struggle with asking for help. So we need to have clear points where if we aren't where we thought we would be, then I can say, hey, this looks like I need you to come in and give you help. So we've got to do that from a supportive rather than a policing nature. And then the other thing I think, we've got to be autonomy is that, hey, I've got to be able to communicate to my boss where we are on this. And if I can't do that, then whilst you might feel that I'm micromanaging you, you will then get micromanaged by my boss. So I'm trying to keep him at arm's length. And if your team can't tell you what the stages are going to be, then they don't understand the work involved. And now we have to work with them to do that. So, come from a position of support and, and it's me, I'm looking to help you, and I've got to be able to report up and report down. Otherwise, my boss will step in and try and micromanage us.
Right.
And I'm trying to keep that away from you.
Right. So I believe in larger businesses, middle management people are in that situation most of the time because they want to give the best to their team, right? They want to make the team go smooth and the project goes smooth, and they have higher levels management people over them asking them for results and etc. And I was reading the other day that there's a little bit of a crisis for those people who are in the middle and they feel not valued by their team players and not valued by their superior.
You don't know where the project is.
Right.
So what value do you add from me as a manager? And then as a team, if you're not giving me an opportunity to support you, then you're not adding value there. So we absolutely have to have that in order to add value. And one of the things I always tell people is you need to have regular review meetings.
Yeah.
And I tend to say no more than 10% of the elapsed time. So if you were doing a 10-day project, I would still expect to check in every day.
Every day, I see.
Because at the end of day one, you should have done 10% of the activity. So where are we on? I can't wait until day 5 to see that we've made no progress and now we need to be making 20% a day. That doesn't work. But if it's a 12-month project, it's not 10 times over the year. We would do that, every month. So it'll be a little bit more than 10%, but, weekly. And if it was a 10-week project, we'd be checking in every
week or so.
Yeah. And this is what I want to be able to see. And, a lot of things that, one of the things that I'm a big fan of is SMART goals. And if your team's got a SMART goal, and they should be able to articulate the outcome as a SMART goal, then the thing about SMART goals is that they're specific, measurable, and time-bound. So you should be able to create a burn-down chart or a burn-up chart that shows the y-axis is the measure, and then the x-axis is the time. So plot where you think you're going to be. And all I want to do is I want you to come and tell me, are you where you thought you would be at this point in time?
And if not, what happened?
Well, and if you can't plot it, then you don't know how you're going to get from where you are to the end. Yeah. And if you can plot it, then let's have a look and do it. And if you're on track, good job, well done. If not, what do you need from me, or what do we need to change? To do that. One of the book I wrote fast on how to achieve success, transparency,
so feedback.
People snatch defeat from the jaws of victory because they don't know where they are and they just miss out. So we need to create that GPS for the activity, and you go and create it, and then tell me when I should check in on you. And your answer cannot be, I'll see you at the end.
Yeah. Okay. What do I say to a person who comes to me and he or she will say, look, I'm an expert in my field. I know what I have to do. I know what to do. Just leave me alone. Let me do my work in my corner at my table alone. And we will see each other at the end of the project. What do I say to that kind of person?
I can't do that, because now you're stopping me from doing my job. I need to have visibility into progress. 1, in order to do my job. 2, to be able to report upwards. And I am so happy that you're an expert, because that means you should be able to track and create a plan of progress that I can check on to see where we are. And if you can't do that, then I don't trust you. And if you can do that, do it.
Right. Part of the job, then.
Yeah, and trust has to be earned. Trust has, we can trust people, but trust and verify. So I trust you to do it, but I need to verify we're on track, because I have to report to my boss. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell my boss, on track, we're late. What happened? Oh, all those times I told you we were on track, we were late, and I just didn't know. That doesn't work for me. And as I say, if you can get that transparency and they can plot where they are, they're also confirming to you that they know what they're doing and where they will be on each step of the journey. But a lot of people don't like to do that, because they claim to be experts, but they're not sure. And if you're not sure, be open with me, and then let's work together to try and become sure. Mm-hmm. When we have that certainty in what we need to do, the probability of being successful is significantly higher than we're not sure and we're just going to wing it. And also as well, other people, I know you're a genius, Arno. I know you're an expert, but what I can't do is I can't monitor the other people but not do the same to you, because people are going to ask me, why is it one rule for Arno and one rule for me? So this is our approach. We're going to have regular feedback and check-in meetings, and the level of detail that we go to might vary, but it can't be, if I have weight issues, so I always use dieting as an example all my life. And you can't say, hey, how's the diet going? Oh, I'm feeling great. Get on the scales.
Right. Get a measurement.
Let's see what you weighed last week, and let's see what you weigh this week. And if the number's gone down, the diet's moving forward. Is it moving fast enough, in line with what we'd like? Different question. But if the number's higher, it's clearly not working. So we want to make as much of the things that we deal with data-driven. And as I say, if we're setting SMART goals, by definition, they're specific and measurable against a timeline. So plot your plan of progress and show me where we are against it.
I love that you compare that to, going through a diet, because it's a great example. Let's say if I want to lose 10 kilograms, that's 20 stones, right?
No.
Oh, okay, I'm all wrong.
It's about a stone and a half.
A stone and a half. Sorry, I just.
Yeah. It's about 20 pounds.
It's about 20 pounds. Yeah. Okay, we'll get there eventually. We'll talk the same language. But 10 kilograms then. And I go to my doctor, and he would, prescribe me with a diet, specific diet. He would not require for me to check on my scale every 10 minutes or every hour or every day itself, because it's not good. He would say to me, check once every week, because it's a good timeline for
There'll
that
be fluctuations in between,
and you can
but
fail.
the general trend.
Right, yeah. You can fail 1 week. You cannot lose the 1 kilogram.
If it goes up, so let's say your goal is to lose 10 kilos in 10 weeks. Now, we could just say we know for a fact that you'll probably lose 2 kilos in week 1.
Yeah.
But half a kilo.
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
So we could try and plot that, or we could say we don't know, and we'll just say a kilo every week. At the end of the first week, if you've put on a kilo, you've now got to lose 11 in 9 weeks. So the plan that will get you to lose 10 in 10 weeks isn't going to allow you to lose 11 in 9 weeks. Yeah. So if we're at the end of that first week, it has to be progress towards a target.
Yeah.
If it is, and it's a little bit below, we can say, well, blah, blah, blah.
This and that happened, but we're moving towards towards the good direction.
And this is why I say you should be checking every 10% of the time. As reasonable. So if it's 10 weeks, you'd do it once every week. And one of the things that we do, and I've been guilty of this in the past, is that we create plans and we tick off the activities in the plans. But that's like saying I'm going to go on a diet and I'm going to eat a salad for my lunch every day. And then our performance review is, did you eat a salad on Monday? Yes, tick. Tuesday, tick. Wednesday, tick. So every day you've eaten a salad, great. That doesn't mean we're on track.
Right.
What means we're on track is when you get on the scales and the weight's moved down. So we have to be holding people accountable for outcomes, not activity.
So
I could eat salad. I could eat the salad.
Doing it.
Yeah. I could eat the salads and not lose any weight. In which case, then we need to change maybe the salad needs to be with fewer fries and bread. Maybe I don't.
And in the workplace, it means you change the activities to match with your expected outcome, right?
Correct. Yeah, and also as well, the other thing is that. I want to motivate you through the process, not either applaud success at the end or complain about failure. So if you can create this roadmap of progress, I can give you that will give you positive motivation as you see yourself move towards it. I will reinforce that. I can share that with my boss. Mm-hmm. The higher up we go, the less time people have to investigate things. So they want a simple report. So if you've got a burn up chart or a burn down chart, where are we? Here we are. This is the path. And as you can see, I'm above it. Great. I'm below it. And this is what I'm going to do. You're able to shorten the conversations because if it's on track, or ahead of schedule, the only thing to say is good job, well done. Thank you very much. Meeting over. Or if you're behind and say, I'm a little bit behind, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast tomorrow to catch back up. Okay, that feels like it'll work. We can go with it. But we cannot allow teams to say, I'm not going to give you any feedback.
Yeah.
And it's not micromanaging to ask to see progress every 10% of the way. Micromanagement is asking for feedback every 1% of the way, every 2%, every 3%, not 10%.
Right.
And it allows us to do our job.
It raises, I believe, what are key questions. It's accountability.
Yeah.
It's how do I manage people without authority on them? Sometimes you're a team player, you have to manage other people, and you're not the boss of them.
Yeah,
it raises the question of
let me just interject there, because those are two different things: accountability and leading authority. Accountability. If you don't have transparency, what are you holding them accountable to? And that would be, how's your diet going? I feel great. Okay. Awesome. So we have to have the transparency. Transparency allows them to hold themselves accountable and for us to hold them accountable. And without transparency, accountability is just a pipe dream.
So let me tell you something. I've been in a situation where I was working for someone else. And for some reason, at some point, I took it personal. I took it as myself was on the line because I couldn't reach the expected goal.
Yeah.
And so as a reflex almost, as a habit, maybe cultural stuff, I don't know, maybe from my family tradition, I don't know. I had the very first idea was to hide that I was behind.
Yeah. And
it was a terrible idea.
A lot of people do that. Project green, red. And
right.
when you do that, you stop me as your boss from helping you. If you tell me halfway through, hey, I've got a problem, now I can help you.
But I've been there.
Hiding is, it's bad for you and it's bad for the boss.
I know, but I guess it's going to be another episode, right? But
you're not the only person that does that. None of us want to give bad news.
I know, and I believe many, even old businesses, they don't give the bad news until.
But a lot of that is tied to the environment created by the boss. If the boss creates a safe environment where you can say, hey, look, we're halfway through and I've only done 20%, I need some help, or we need to change tack, then that's a healthy environment and we can step in. But if you created an environment where people get criticized, punished, shouted at, then they're going to hide poor performance until the absolute last minute. And a lot of people do that. So as bosses, we have to create an environment. And one of the things I tell my teams, and it's probably not politically correct, I tell them that if you come to me with a problem at a point where I can help you, I'm the nicest person in the world. If you come to me with a problem where there is nothing I can do, but I could have, if you'd mentioned it early, I will go batshit crazy. So you have the opportunity to speak up early and deal with the nicest person in the world, or you can hide it
and unleash the kraken.
And have me going batshit crazy. Can I suggest option one? Option one is a much better option. I mean, I don't necessarily do that, but I just try to let them know that that's the implication. You're stopping me from helping you. You're stopping me from doing my job. So I want to help you. My job is to set you up for success. So create let me know if you've got everything you need. Now plot a path of what success would look like, of achieving success would look like, and then report against that every 10% of the way through. And then I'll give you a round of applause or support if it's not going well. But we have to create that environment. Yeah. And that's where when we talk about accountability, leaders, we are accountable for the environment and the culture. So if our people are afraid of telling us, that's on us. That's not on them.
Let me object to that with an example that I get from a friend. He got hired, and day one he was project manager of a team of, I believe, 15 to 20 people.
Yeah.
And the deadlines were terrible for him. Very short deadlines. So he felt like he had no time to create an environment where people are safe and where people are. And there's this culture from the business he was hired in, which was through fear and a lot of toxic environment. So he didn't make it a long time in that business, right? Because he moved from another industry. But time is what was his main difficulty, to create a nicer, safer environment there. I believe he was not put in the situation where he could create that. So it was his boss accountability. But still he was frustrated, because he wanted to reach the deadlines.
Yeah, but he couldn't achieve it because it's impossible. So this is why it's impossible. So this is why it's important for us to create a roadmap.
The roadmap,
for success.
Yeah.
Because if my car has a maximum speed of 70 kilometers an hour, and I have to go 140 kilometers in an hour, when I draw that plan and I go back to my boss and say, this is our maximum speed, after 1 hour we'll be at 70.
Yeah.
You want us to be at 140. It's not possible.
It's not going to happen.
So we have to create that to be able to go back and say, hey, we don't have enough time. And if we don't do that, and we accept that we're going to go 140 kilometers in 1 hour and a car that does 70 kilometers an hour, that's our fault. We should have spoken up. And I know that sometimes it can be scary, but this is the reality, okay? Hard to say, but a fact. If you don't say anything, you're going to get shouted at in an hour when you've only gone 70 kilometers. And that's stressful for that entire 1 hour. So, and if you're worried that you're going to get shouted at if you go and say it, just bear in mind, you're going to get shouted at anyway. So you can choose to get shouted at early and try and change the parameters to be successful, or you can just bury your head in the sand and get shouted at the end.
It is way less scary the way you present that.
Well, no, because I think some people do feel that they're going to get shouted at and nothing will change. Nothing might change anyway. So they would rather say, you know what, I'm just going to go and I'll get shouted at the end, rather than trying to change it. But if you don't have that conversation, you're never putting yourself in a position where you have a chance of being successful. So I as a turnaround expert, I have a phenomenal track record, and this sounds to me like me bragging, of delivering projects on time and within schedule. But I'll tell you for a fact, on 70% of those times, I went back and argued, this isn't possible in the time you'd like. This is when it can be done. And I've had people say, yeah, but I want this one. Okay, you've two choices. I can go with your timeline and you're only going to get 80%, or we get 2 more months and you get 100%. There's no scenario where we stick with the existing timescale and you get 100%. And because I can plot our progress, it's hard to argue that a car that has a maximum speed of 70 kilometers an hour is going to go 140 kilometers in an hour. It's not. So we have to do that to protect ourselves, and then you can go say, these are the facts. These are the I know you're an astrophysicist. These are the physics.
Right.
Even you cannot change the laws of physics. So
I sure can do.
so what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Am I misunderstanding something? So here's a statistic, and I think we're going to have to go in a moment. We're probably out of time on this episode. This is an interesting statistic from IBM research on projects that failed. What percentage of the time did people know day one the project was going to fail? So on projects that fail, what percentage of the time did people know day one it was going to fail?
That is, I would say maybe a very small percentage.
No.
Really not?
70%. On projects that
no
failed,
way.
70% of the time, people knew day one, this has no chance. And unless you choose to say something, you're facilitating that failure. And if you knew, you are accountable now for not speaking up.
So the thing is,
and let me just add one other point as well. Yeah. And if you think it's going to fail, as soon as it starts to fail, you'll go, told you. And that will facilitate the failure. Whereas if you think it's going to be successful and you see it start to fail, you go, what's going on? And you'll step forward and you'll try and solve it. So for leaders, we should ask our people, honestly, do you think this is going to be successful? And if they say yes, great. If they say no, okay, either we explain to them what they're missing or we have to change it. Because if we don't, then thinking it's going to fail becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. I love the idea that we've digged into the T letter from the FAST word. Transparency. Seems really, really important to this.
Absolutely.
Transparency to yourself. Can I do it? How can I do it? When can I do it? Transparency to the people above and below you in the structure and the collaborators in general.
And transparency is two things. It's knowledge. It's the knowledge of what we have to do. So we plot that out, and then it's the honesty, it's the truth of how we are performing. So first of all, know what's involved, create that graph.
So people, I love math,
and then track it. Yeah. And it's not complicated. SMART goals. The measurement is the y-axis. The time is the x-axis. And what does that mean? If you're going to lose 10 kilos in 10 months, you put 1 to 10 on the y-axis, and you put 10 months on the x-axis.
Right.
Draw a line, and then track
what's happening.
You've done. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you, Gordon.
Oh, you're welcome.
We'll talk again about accountability because I definitely want to get to that. We're going to talk about many stuff, but this was very interesting to dive into transparency today.
Yeah, so we're gonna cover that on the next podcast. So thanks everybody for tuning in to the Fast Leadership with Arno and Gordon. We are looking to take the rocket science out of leadership and help you drive results. If you like the podcast, please share, please comment, please like it. That helps us with the rankings. So thank you and goodbye from me.
Bye bye.